All right, folks. So before we begin doing an entire face, we should practice drawing just basic facial features. So today's lesson, we're going to be talking about just drawing a more realistic eye. Oftentimes, my students will show me that they've drawn their face and the eye is very simple. It's something just like this, the dot in the middle, something that doesn't really look like your actual eye looks. So what we're going to do is we're going to just practice drawing an eye with some basic features. So if I'm looking at like a really simple eye, or a lot of times it's like an anime eye or something like that, and some eyelashes, this doesn't look right to me. It's missing an eyelid, all right? It's missing the iris. That's the colorful part of your eye. That's the part where if you say you have blue eyes, green eyes, brown eyes, that would be this part. It's missing the lower lid, a little bit of skin. And a lot of times, folks, it's very helpful if you were to get a mirror and actually take a good hard look at your eyeball. You have this weird, like kind of red tear duct thing over here. So let me walk you through just some basics because everyone's eyes are different shapes, different colors. So let's talk about how to just get started. Take a look at your eye and make sure that you're doing just a basic shape. Now, some people have more eyelid exposed. Some people don't at all. Like I said, everybody's different. So here's kind of a basic shape that is an easy start. Again, you can change it if you need to based on what you have. And please go get a mirror and take a look at your facial features. So from here, you have to toss in an eyelid. All right. Maybe a slightly thinner line for the lower lid. We're going to have a little line to the left and right here. That's where your actual eyeball is. And next is going to be your iris. That's the colorful part of your eye. It's a bigger circle within the eyelid here. And then in the middle is your pupil. That's the black part of your eye. That's the part that gets bigger and smaller depending on how much light is in the room. Okay, so from here you can take a look. You might have a couple eyelashes you could put in there. I know sometimes like the boys in class, you don't want to go too crazy with the eyelashes because you might be afraid that the eye will look too girly. That's okay. You could just leave it alone. Let's keep it simple. But I do want you guys to make sure we have an eyelid, all right? And that we have the iris part, which is the colorful part, and that we have the pupil. Those are three major things. So the lid, iris. Okay. So from here, you guys, if you happen to have any sort of materials for coloring, this would be a good time to do that. So I would say for a lot of folks, your eye color is so unique to you. My eye color is very different from my husband's and my daughter's. So find a couple of colors you think might work. Blue, I think I fall in like blues and greens. I might add a little bit of brown in there, a little bit of white. Color pencils if you have them. If you don't, that's okay. Crayons work really wonderfully, and so do markers. If you need to use markers, that's totally fine. All right, so my iris, I'm going to start out with a middle color, something like a brown. Just going to go in there and add some color. And again, you guys, if you remember from last year, you can change the way a color looks based on how much pressure you apply to the paper. All right, so you can kind of keep it light. We can always go back and build it up again. I'm going to layer in a little bit of green. Really, this is when you sit in front of the mirror and you try to say, oh, okay, I have a little green, I have a little blue, I have some brown eyes. Whatever works for you, whatever you have. Try to feature it in your drawing. I love it when you guys layer colors. I know we've talked about that in the past. Don't just choose one color. Even if you're like, oh, I have brown eyes. Whatever. Go get more than one brown color pencil, more than one brown. crayon. Layer it up. Make it a really interesting brown, not straight from the box kind of brown. Let's see, what else can I add in here? I'm going to add a little bit of this yellow, kind of blend it around. Let's see if the white color pencil does anything. It might. Sometimes it does. It all depends. And if you guys don't have these supplies at home, that's okay. Just go get what you have. So use some marker, use some crayon. Oh, that looks cool. All right, let's see the middle part of my eye, that pupil. I'm going to use some black. I actually like the idea of having a little shiny part, so I'm going to draw a small circle. Draw a small circle and then leave that part alone so the white of the paper stays and the rest of that pupil turns black. It's going to look great. Slightly, a little more realistic, I think. Oh yeah, awesome. So I think this would be a really great practice. If your first attempt is bad, you don't like how it looks, so what? You can say, oh, no, thank you. I'm going to start and draw some new eye over here. I'm going to attach a bunch of different kinds of eyes you guys can draw. So hopefully you can find something that looks like close to your eye, because not everybody's eye looks like this. You guys, of course, can go ahead and play around with your skin tones. We'll talk about that later. We have a whole book that we're going to read about it. I'm using some crayons. I love crayons too. Crayons are really great, and you can blend beautiful colors. And oftentimes you get these boxes of crayons, and there's like 100 colors in there, and you can just go crazy. Very cool. If you want to do a little shading, you can do a little shading underneath the eyelid. If you want to make it look really realistic, you can add a little bit of that like tear duct in there. All right, so this might be very fancy schmancy, a little too advanced, and if that's okay, if you're looking at this and you're like, I can't do that, I don't want to hear that. I just want to hear you guys say, oh, I tried it, this is what I have. We're going to be doing a lot of little practices like this before we do an entire face. So today's focus is let's practice drawing different eyes. You guys, you can take a look, like I said, get in front of a mirror, take a look at what you have. If you have slightly different shaped eyes, that's okay. So in this case, I might draw an eye that has a little bit different shape to it. Pupil, iris. All right. If you want, you can even go practice and draw like your mom and dad's eyes, your siblings' eyes. Just go around and just practice it. Get your sketchbook. If you don't have a sketchbook, just get a plain old pieces of paper and just give it a practice. All right, good luck. Show me what you did. I'd love to see it. And again, I will show you guys a few more pictures to help you. So if you're looking at my examples and you're like, I don't know, that might not work for me, that's okay. I'll have a whole bunch of stuff. So for example, this kind of thing is going to be a great resource. Looking in a mirror is going to be a great resource. I'll have this stuff available for you. Okay.